Back in again, episode 5, Change Agents. This is Caleb.
I'm Trav.
And we are here with the legendary BrandonShotMe. Man, pleasure to have you, bro.
What up, what up? I'm glad to be here. How y'all feeling?
Good, man. Good.
Man. Nice finally meet you. I heard a lot about you. You know, y'all are shooters. I ain't a shooter, so yeah. I like when we bring in people who do things that I can't do.
Sure.
So like when Caleb sent me your page, I was like, oh, this is fire. Let's do it. But you're a legend to everybody who shoots. So
yeah.
How'd you get into shooting and like what started it?
Sure. So when I first started, this was like I said, this was about 2008, 2009. I was rapping, right? So I'm trying to be, you know, Roscoe Dash, Soulja Boy around the era. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just trying to focus on just really trying to blow up in the music industry, right? And I'm from a small hometown, so it's like.
Where you from?
Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay.
I know that's it.
Really?
Yeah, I used to work there.
That's crazy.
You
know about that life too. It's about 2 people who know about Wilson. That's crazy.
Yeah.
1, 2. You too?
Well.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
So good. How about you? Okay, good. So 2 people.
Yeah.
That's wild. So basically, small hometown, man, and basically I was trying to blow up in the industry, and then I hired a couple people to kind of do my videos, and it just didn't really work. There was a lot of things I just didn't like about it, so I was like, I need to go ahead and find out how to shoot myself.
Right.
All right. So picked up a camera, went to YouTube, and just found out how to actually edit, found out how to shoot.
Right.
And then I just really want to shoot my own music videos. That was it. But then for me to get better, I had to practice with other people. So I was like, yo, let me shoot your video. And they was like, yo, for sure, that was dope. Do it again. And I'll just pay you. I'm like, for real? How much we talking about?
You know what I'm saying? I ain't tell you it was gonna be pennies.
Oh, no. It was about 200.
Yeah, right.
First of all, I went hard for that $200. I showed up with lights and everything. I brought stuff I didn't need.
Yeah, right.
Listen, I showed that little rig. Y'all remember the rig, the little situation, that joint that never works? I know, Trav, you know nothing about it, but it's a rig that you buy. That joint never works. It has nothing to do with nothing. But
sound like a good money grab though.
Yeah,
because everybody was buying it.
Yes, just buy that joint. But yeah, that's what I was doing, man. Focus on shooting music videos. Went from music videos to doing like short films. I was directing a lot of the film, the web series, and all that. Then I went from, it was no money in that. So like, although my films might have did well on YouTube and all that, it just wasn't any money. I needed money quickly. Right. Working a job, working in a warehouse, it's like, nah, I'm gonna need something to. I'm not here to sit around 20 years and wait for this film to blow up.
Exactly.
Went from there and then went to weddings. Weddings actually what helped me quit my job because I started making $3,000 to $5,000 a month in weddings. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm out of this. Quit my job and then I started working with businesses. And then once I started working with business, found out how to get paid monthly, started hiring my employees overseas, like essentially automated the business. And I started teaching other people how I did it.
Got you. So you said something key there. It was like, you know, figuring out how to, you know, to make that monthly amount. You know what I'm saying? Like having that mindset, like what was that started it for you, just figuring out, okay, like I need to hit a certain target or a certain goal a month to, you know, quit my job or to, you know, get to a certain position, you know, just in life.
Yeah, so when I was shooting weddings, first thing I had to do was replace my income. Right. And really start investing into books. Like I haven't read a book in 10 years at this time when I quit my job.
Right.
So I read one book. I looked at a few YouTube videos.
What book?
The book was called 10 Distinctions Between Entrepreneurs and Employees.
Okay.
So all it did was show me the difference between what an entrepreneur lifestyle looks like, what a thought process is, and what an employee thought process was. And I'm nothing on the employee side. You know, entrepreneurs take risks, all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, that's just me. So then that's why I knew I was an entrepreneur. And of course, I found out, you know, watching YouTube videos, and they was talking about entrepreneurship and all that stuff. So I knew I had to replace my income. And once I replaced my income with weddings, I quit my job. But when I quit my job, I knew I had to be around entrepreneurs. So one guy I used to watch online, his name was David Shands. And I actually, he worked at the mall. So I went and met up with him, and I was like, bro, whatever you need, I just need to be around entrepreneurship because I don't know any other entrepreneurs. Right. So I shot him.
You sought out a mentor, essentially.
Yep. So I didn't necessarily have any money to actually like pay for this mentor, but I shot for him for free for 2 years. So during this time, I was able to be around entrepreneurs, millionaires, you know, business owners every day throughout this time. And that's how I picked up like the knowledge.
So you didn't work for free?
Essentially, I didn't.
You didn't work for free?
No, I didn't.
Caleb was looking at me while you said that because this has literally been like a common theme of 2 things as far as number 1, mentorship being important. Absolutely. And number 2, not getting paid to be an intern a lot of times. Because essentially what you did was an internship.
Yeah.
And, you know, this generation of do it now, do it fast, get it now, get paid now, they don't really understand that everybody who had a real legitimate climb and then just like hit the lottery one day, had to go through these steps. And so many people try to skip the steps now, and it drives us crazy.
Oh yeah, no, that's literally the best way. Like, I mean, yeah, like I knew basically I want what he had in his head in my head. So I knew what's in your head. I need your resources. I need where you are now, and I'm willing to go through whatever it takes to get there.
And you probably ain't take a picture with none of the people that was around you.
No, I'm not doing that.
Now people think the mentorship or the value in the relationship is just so you can get the picture. Nah, I need what's in your head. I need to know how you get from point A to point B versus just, oh man, if people see me with him, I can charge the same thing Brandon charged. That ain't how it works.
No, so you're supposed to play the long game. So if I really want to get with Trav, right? I want to connect with Trav. Trav mentioned something about Skybox earlier, right? If I really want to get in the Skybox, I don't necessarily need to just come up here and be all hot shot and take a picture of Trav and whatever and try to serve, Trav so I can get in the Skybox.
Right.
I can really just connect with Caleb and whatever Caleb needs and just serve him. And what'll happen is I don't care if it takes 6 months. You gotta be willing to be patient and willing to go through, because after people can't do, just small things for a long period of time. So let's say one day I might work with Caleb and shoot his stuff and take out the trash, whatever.
Right.
30 days I'm tapped out. I'm done. Caleb ain't working. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if I do this 6 months, what'll happen is they'll say, man, I need somebody to shoot. I need somebody. Caleb, I got a guy.
Right.
Let me bring Brandon. Matter of fact, a year from now, you can say, you know what, we need somebody to shoot in the Skybox.
Exactly. And he's not worried at all about if you're gonna mess up his name,
I've been
because you've been consistently showing up
for 12 months.
Right.
And to me, that's what school is about.
Yep.
And I know this whole climate now is you don't need college, you don't need blah blah. You don't need college to make money. Sure. But college and the resources, intangible and tangible, that comes from college will teach you how to keep money. Sure. So all college teaches you or school teaches you is to be able to sit down for 6 months so you can get to the other thing. And nobody want to sit down and do nothing. They just want a viral moment for their whole life and just go from there. And it's insane.
It's not worth it.
So I want to just ask this. I mean, I know personally, but I want you to tell the people, like, how many students, that you've mentored or just been around?
Oh my God. I mean, so actually from my program, it's been close to 200 students.
Right.
But outside of that, man, it's crazy.
Probably thousands. You know what I'm saying? Like just people that, even that I've ran across, like.
It's finna be 201 because I saw you had a post on your page like your mentees made $20K a month. I'm like, I could always use the extra $20K a month. Sure. 5 to $20K. And I feel like that's based on how hard they work. So some people gonna make 5, some people gonna make 20. I feel like I can make 25. So I'm just, just gonna throw that out there like, hey man, what's up?
I had somebody hit me up. They from UK.
Okay.
They got their first retainer for like $1,000 a month, for like 800 pounds.
Wow.
But it's time. And the transition a little bit, because I think there's so much value in not just mentorship, but like people who teach courses and all of that. But people also have been scammed so much that people are weary. What do you say to those people who's like, how do I know it's worth my time to go try to find these people if most of these people are scamming?
Yeah, man, that's a really good a good question. So it's a few different, I can go really broad with this. So I guess let me start with just our culture. Most time it's just black people, right? Who just say, oh, I've been scammed or whatever. One, you haven't done enough research. You haven't done enough due diligence. You haven't done anything. You just threw your money at something and you wanted to overnight, right? And sometimes when people think they're scamming, it's actually something that works and they just don't want to actually
They didn't do the whole process.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we have been traumatized. We have a lot of childhood issues that we got to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's why we immediately jump at something that's skeptical and scammy, as opposed to, that's not our first thought, right? Other cultures, they jump right into it.
Right.
But our culture specifically, we have been scammed. Not only just, it's not a right now. This is 20 years, you've been dealing with something 20 years ago when you was young and your father wasn't there and all those other things. Those things show up to the forefront when it comes to you making a decision right now in your lifetime.
Right. People deal with that fear. People deal with that, like, just that moment of like almost being paralyzed. Like they just don't know how to react in those rooms, and just like, like being the risk taker that you are, and making the steps and the strides that you made, bro. It's just commendable, man. Like that's what I really wanted to just say, bro. Like, and just to, I know you kind of took it in one direction. I wanted to take it back. It's just like, you know, bro, like going from where we started, you know what I'm saying, meeting you on set for, I think it was like a BLB video, I was shooting BTS video, you was shooting BTS photography, and, you know, like, we both became extremely successful, right? And it's just like, you know, you took your own path and I took mine, but we still climb. It's just like, you know, there's multiple ways to kind of, you know, be successful in this game. It's just like, you know, like talk about just like the multiple lanes that creatives can kind of go into, as opposed to just thinking that like they just got to shoot one thing.
Yeah, well, I focus strictly on shooting one thing, right? So there's a lot of, so creatives have a hard time with focus.
Right.
Right.
In general.
Right. So my way works and also Caleb's way works. So what I tell other creatives to do, pick which one and just focus on that.
Right.
You can't do both of our lanes, right? If Caleb's focused on big brands and corporations and all that stuff, I don't necessarily focus on that. I focus strictly on business owners and small business, things of that nature. You don't want to juggle both, right? If Caleb can land clients for 20,000, 30,000, you do Caleb's route. Don't do mine. Don't call me. Okay.
Right.
If you want to do my route, I land clients for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. You do my route. The problem is we like them both, and we like the shiny object. Like, oh, I want to work with this and work with that. You must pick one. Right. Because when you do multiple things, it has never worked.
Right.
You need to focus on one. If you do Caleb's way, it will work. You just have to focus on it for a period of time. So yes, there is multiple ways, but if we name them all on this podcast, they will go out there and write a list of all the 10 things and try to do all of them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, and I know it's like quotes for it, but I'm a basketball head.
Yep.
So there used to be players and now they're specialists, right? But there's always a lane for both.
True.
And I think now in our culture, we've gotten so obsessed with being busy or looking like we have so many different skills that we don't specialize in anything.
I don't want to be busy.
And essentially what you're saying is find the one thing you want to do and go do that. You don't necessarily have to be the engineer, the shoot the music videos, shoot the podcast, and teach the class.
Yeah,
find the one thing you love and maximize that. But I don't think we have the patience for it because everybody's trying to make sure they highlight reel got 9 different worlds in it, and it don't work. You burn out.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I just tell people to focus on the money. I ain't gonna cap. For real. I'm like, listen, you gotta focus on money and time. You need to make a whole lot of money. You need to save a whole lot of time.
And that's business.
That's it.
You said something pivotal too, bro. I don't even know if you peeped it, but you said, I don't want to be busy.
Yeah, I don't want to be busy.
That's important. It's like, I don't want to be busy either. I'd rather be booked. I'd rather be booked for the right things at the right time, doing the right things. Like, I don't need to be just busy with aimlessly. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, for a lot of us, when I say us, I'm just talking about creatives, it's like, we jump into these positions and, you know, we work with different people and then we be busy all the time and we be driving ourselves insane. I'm pretty sure, like, you probably dealt with that too, just, you know, managing time better and making that transition. Like, what was that switch for you to just like, all right, like, I need to be more intentional about this, or I need to be spending more time here. I need to just focus on these small businesses. Like, what was that shit for you?
Well, yeah, I know that, like, if you look at the amount of work that you did all month and you look at your bank account, it doesn't equate.
Right.
So I was like, no, this don't make sense. We got to do something different.
Right.
Like, I don't want to keep hustling for like a new client every time I turn around.
Right.
So I knew I had to do a recurring revenue model, something I can get paid every month, so I don't have to do that.
Right.
Let me start there. And like how much I need to be charged. I know I at least need about $10,000 a month, and that'll cover this. And then I also get to travel and be able, you know what I mean? So I'm like, boom, I need about $6,000
Right.
to cover all my expenses, or maybe $5,000. Then I also got an extra $5,000. That's kind of like the way I thought of it. Let me start there. And then from there, I still got to edit how I get rid of this stuff. It's like all of my time, people think they got to spend a lot of their time to better make more money. I don't want to do that, right? So if you go $20 an hour, I'm just going to charge $25 an hour. It's like, no, I just need to charge $5,000 for the day and be done the rest of the month.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just don't want to be busy. I want to work about a few days out the month, right? And just be chilling. I just want to be able to do whatever I want every single day.
Right.
And I don't want to wait till 65. I don't want to wait till 40. I want to do it tomorrow.
Right.
How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm about to be 35, so I'm 34.
Oh, same age. Right. Caleb the baby
Yeah.
on set.
Yeah.
But I always do that too. Like, even like when we started this, we were thinking about who we wanted to bring in to work, to do certain roles.
Right.
And the same question kept coming up. How much money do you need to be okay?
Yep.
And I never, outside of me and Caleb, everybody else I asked could never give me a number. They had never even thought about that in their life, which is crazy because you've been paying the same bills over and over and all of this stuff, but people never even look at how much they need to be okay.
It's
not to thrive.
Yeah.
Just how much do you need to be okay to make a switch? Like you had to decide, okay, I need this much from weddings to quit this warehouse job.
Right.
Now let's go to the next point. Now how much do I need to travel?
Yep.
Now how much do I need to help my mom or help my kid? And people just never think about it because we all in this rat race of just living in the moment.
Oh, you put the numbers together. It's crazy. It's never a lot.
It's not.
It's never a lot. People will say, I want to make $1 million. What do you need $1 million for? Oh, well, I want a brand new Honda. Okay, great. Honda costs $30,000. What else you need? Oh, well, I want
a great Honda costs
Yeah, and then
like,
you know, based on the race, you paying less than $300 a month or whatever. But go ahead, like
wild.
you know.
Like, I was like, I want to like retire my wife. Like, how much money you make? Whatever. Stop. Oh, I'm just looking at $2,000. That's it. I can do that now.
Right.
How much are your bills? You just ask them. You call your wife, you call your spouse, you call your mom, you ask them all the bills, and you'll be surprised. And here was crazy. Even though you need $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to take all this stuff, you can start with small things. I start with my mom's light bill, $80 a month, right? Phone bill. So for $150, you work in a warehouse for $150 a month right now, you can take some stress off your mom today.
Yeah. Right.
But people are waiting for the $1 million check.
Right.
You don't have to wait for the $1 million check. It's a transition.
Do you think they're waiting? Do you think they're really waiting on the $1 million check, or they waiting on the $1 million hand clap? Like most people, I think are really just waiting on the hand clap. They haven't even given it any thought. And I try not to quote unquote. I don't judge people for that, but it's also like, if we have a conversation, if I come to you and I say, Brandon, I want to learn how to shoot, I want to learn how to do what you do. Yeah. And then you give me some information, or you give me enough information to get started. Yeah. And then I see you in 3 months and I haven't applied any of that information. Why should you talk to me?
Oh, I'm not talking to you. You're getting blocked.
Yeah, you're done,
right?
I'm getting blocked.
Because at that point, it's a waste of both of y'all time, but go ahead.
Even if you're paying to talk to me, I would rather not take your money than to keep having to reiterate the same thing.
Yeah, agree.
And I think, but most people work to get Brandon on the phone. Most people wanted to get you to post you on their story, and they're not even looking at, dog, everything you needed to know to get started, we had in the regular conversation before you even came to do the actual consult.
Sure.
But you're just not applying none of this stuff, but all life is going on around you. So I just think people waiting on the hand clap, and I kind of feel guilty sometimes because I feel like what we all do kind of contributes to the people thinking that it's all about just what they seeing on the Instagram. Like Michael Jordan had a commercial that said, "Maybe it's my fault." Yeah. You from North Carolina, so I know you seen that commercial. Yeah. But he was like, maybe it's my fault because I didn't show you.
It too easy.
I made it look easy because all you saw was my highlights. Mm-hmm. So what is the point where you felt like, whether that was in transition, whether that was when you fully made the transition, where's the point where you hit the low point and you was like, okay, I got to change something immediately?
I think, so one, I've been in poverty majority of my life, so I've been broke longer than I've been rich, right? In 2016, I had, this was the same year I quit my job, but I spent my first night in jail, right? I had a DUI. So which is weird because I've been growing up in the trap, my brothers, my whole life. I could have been went to jail multiple times.
For longer time.
You know what I'm saying? For longer times, multiple times or whatever, right? So I spent my first night in jail. My wife, she needed surgery. So around the time I quit my job, I needed to make a decision whether I need to kind of stay at the job and making sure my wife go through the surgery and make sure everything's paid for. Just a lot of those sacrifices I had to make. I had a few different low points. That was when I had to make an official transition. And then even when I first came to Atlanta from Wilson, like my wife had to sell everything out of the house and everything like that. I had nothing but gold teeth, right? I could just pawn to kind of just get here. I couldn't get a job, so I edited every day for 3 months straight, 12, 16-hour days. So that's how I was able to kind of edit great so fast. You know what I mean? I didn't have a job. And that was kind of depressing too because I can't take care of my family. So both of those 2 points was like super low, super depressing, but there was a sacrifice, and it was a part of my story. And a lot of things that I've done, I know a lot of people just aren't willing to do or to go through it.
Do you think small town, and this is for both of y'all, you think small town people just have a different level of day-to-day work ethic that big cities don't have? Because it seems like everybody we've been talking to, Tierra, Portia, she's from Memphis, but she's from West Memphis, which is not the Memphis everybody think about.
Yeah.
I'm from Albany.
I don't think it's. I think it's the struggle, and it's also the percentage. It's a percentage game, right? So the top 10% of people make money or 100,000, whatever it looks like, and they're just spread out everywhere. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be necessarily in Albany, but because it starts with your mindset first. So if you got brothers and sisters or siblings, how many of those people actually made it? This is a real question at this point. How many people?
Well, I only got one sibling. He made it, which made me want to make it.
Right.
I got a younger brother. Yeah.
But my stepdad that I was telling you about, he's like one of 8.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of 8 or 9, right?
Yeah.
He the only rich one.
Yeah. So most time that's kind of the way it works. It's like you have 8 people, you got one. It's 1. You know what I mean? 2 is just a numbers game. Yeah. But I do think struggle has something to do with it.
I think for me, coming from a small town, and again, I'm from Sandersville, Georgia, but coming from a small town and coming to Atlanta or coming to a bigger city, it's your environment is everything. So it's like seeing other creatives, seeing other black people driving Jaguars, you know what I'm saying, like Porsches and stuff like that. It changes your optics. It changes your perspective. So I think that was the thing for me, and it just you just latched on to that idea of I could live like this. Mm-hmm. Even though I was raised over here with tractors and trailers and dirt roads and stuff like that, I can go over here and make a living. Right. That's what really pushed me, and I think that pushed a lot of people that come from those small town areas.
I can still, you can, and you can probably can too. You can probably call 10 people from a small hometown and come here and think ain't none of this shit.
Right. They can't even wrap their head around.
I see people come this mall. You see this big mall we at Landis or whatever. It's okay, whatever. You go into it's kind of like this mall. I'm ready to go back and go eat. Pork chop and gravy.
Right.
So it's really just personal. It's just who it in the person.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your program, right? I know it's definitely a financial thing, but was there something that you saw, like a trend in creators that you felt like you wanted to change their outlook on something? Or was it just simply, this is what I did, let me show people what I did?
Oh no, it was definitely, at first it was, I just want to show people what I did. And then as I was getting into it, and I talked to a lot of people, because when I first started, I did all the sales calls. And the mindset, it was even to this day, it's always a mindset shift. So I don't try to convince anybody anything. I'm not forcing anybody to jump into my coaching program or anything. It's kind of I always have to change their mindset before they even make the investment. And I don't feel like that's my job to change that. I feel like when you're ready, then you'll go ahead and make the decision. But I don't want to be on the phone shucking and jiving for you saying what makes this good?
Right.
How you gonna make me rich?
You just giving them the information.
It's no, this is kind of what I do.
Yeah.
And if you should have done enough research already, if you feel like this is for you, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything with the belief in yourself.
Right.
So you need to go back. I give you a book to read. Here's a couple of books. Read that. Watch these videos. And once your mindset is ready, maybe 3 months, 6 months, maybe next year, you'll come back and you'll make a decision. Right. But yeah, mindset is literally in the creative field. It's literally it's wild.
Got you. Another question I wanted to ask about the program too is speak to your students. I know you work with over 200 students within your program. What are some of those success stories carrying, a student from A to B? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man, it's wild. I actually just been able to help my students go from literally nothing to $500 to $1,000 a month, just literally no money, to $25,000 a month, $200K a year. It's just wild.
$200K a year?
Yeah, over $200K a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you take the failures personal?
If they fail?
Yeah.
No, I just don't care. Whether you win or fail, I'm like, you did the work. I'm just showing you.
I gave you the tools, so what you do with it is what you do with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is no if you do the work, there is no as far as the success rate, it's either 100% or 0.
Right.
If you do everything I tell you, it will work. Period. If you do nothing, it's what it is.
Right.
But no, I don't take accountability for a lot of stuff. They just kind of listen, this is, if you do this, it will work.
Yeah.
I can guarantee it.
I think that's the difference between being a coach and being a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they kind of operate in the same field, I've been telling Caleb, and I've pretty much been telling everybody around me, I love managing if I love the talent or if I love the person. But I think one of the things with management that makes me want to kind of find a way to do more just consulting and not managing is when you manage, you have to be so tied to the end result. So whether you give the person the right information, you get them the right funding, you tell them, you can get them everything in the world, somehow you're still tied to the end result. And if that person don't succeed, it might be something in them that don't succeed, but you end up carrying that personal responsibility or feeling like, well, what didn't I do? Or what could I have done better? Versus when you're coaching or consulting, it's like, look, this is the playbook. Run the play. That's it. And if you run the play, I promise you there's some money at the end of the play. Sure. If you don't run the play, just don't call me no more.
Yeah, it's plain and simple. Like, it's, I tell people, even in the beginning, I said, listen, because everybody's excited in the beginning, right? They invest money, like, I'm ready to do this. But I'll say, listen, it's always, you'll never get to your success without sacrifice. If I went through, even I'm getting the playbook, you're still going to get, if you like football, you're going to get hit, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to avoid it. You're not about to get this sweep, boom, to the end zone.
Right.
That's not how it works. I went through a lot of sacrifices. All I'm telling you, you will get there, but you just won't have to take as many sacrifices as I did.
Right.
But when we start coaching, you're going to go through stuff with, your family. Something's going to happen with your car. Something's going to happen with your job. Something's going to happen, and it only matters when those things happen, right? How you overcome adversity. That's the only thing that separates the people who win and the people who don't. Everybody got the same information, but when things happen, they persevered, right? They say, all right, I'm going to push through. And then for the other people, they folded. They quit. They folded.
Don't complain, just.
Yeah. I don't even have to call and find out. Oh, I already know what happened. I just, ain't no point. Brandon, so here's what happened, bro.
Right.
You want to tell me? I already know. Right. I told you in the beginning. This
what happened.
It's what happened. It's a guarantee it's going to happen. Yeah. Because it's success over that, right? Some people get to it and be like, head on back. Okay, cool. It wasn't for you. You don't belong in the 10%.
You didn't want to go over the hill.
Yeah.
And we've never even had a conversation about this, bro, but like, let's just talk about like just prepping for a shoot, just that part of it. Not even the actual shoot, just preparing for it.
All right.
Like, talk about like, what that really looks like for you and your students and what are you telling them?
Oh, yeah. So make sure you have extra everything, right? So even if of course, batteries, SD cards, tripods, whatever, make sure you bring extra because if something happened with a tripod, do you have another one? We talking about traveling, we talking about just in
general, like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you want to make sure you have everything.
Right.
And make sure you charge everything the night before. Okay. Go check it again in the morning.
Sounds simple, right?
Yeah. But I'm telling you, you have to make the list the day before because if you mess around and show up there and be like, dang, I forgot the SD pouch or I forgot the mic at the house, it can happen.
Yeah.
But if I check it the night before, put your stuff in the bag and then check it again in the morning and go through your list. And you want to show up about an hour and a half early. Shoot, don't start 3. I don't really care about that, right?
Even deeper, like if your call time is 3:00, just pull up at 2. Like, why not? Just pull up earlier. Make sure you well equipped for that actual shoot. Because if you miss that threshold, That's on you. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really care if the client's always gonna be late. I don't care. You gotta show up an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right. Because the point that I'm trying to drive through is that, like, you probably got paid for that job, or maybe you didn't. But your reputation is everything.
Absolutely.
People only remember you based on that last interaction, how you made them feel, things like that. So if you rub somebody the wrong way and you always known for being behind or being late or things of that sort, like, it's just not gonna go over well because you might not like working with this person, but this person knows this other person that you want to work with. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's always connected in that way.
And people ask me, like, what else stuff should I bring? I'm like, what you mean? Bring all your shit.
Yes, right.
Like, yeah, do any lights?
Just bring it. Just pack it in the car.
Have you been this place before? No, I haven't. Bring the fucking lights.
Right. You ain't been there before. You haven't seen photos of the location. Bring everything.
I don't want to pack heavy.
Prepare for the worst.
That's how you look at them too, like.
Prepare for the worst. Because we've been in those situations, bro. We've been in those situations. We've been in those rooms where we didn't have an SD card or we only had one battery for the entire photo shoot. And we tried to bring 3 or 4 different batteries, but like we only had that one and we tried to make that one battery work, but we ain't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to put people in those situations, that the people that look up to you and look up to me, it's just like, you know, I always try to prepare in that way. And for me, just to go into my spiel, it's like the day before, I always set up as if I'm shooting right then and there. Like I set up, I turn on the camera, and I hit record every time.
Oh, that's
like that, to this day, like, you know what I'm saying? And that'll eliminate 90% of the issues that people deal with, you know? So
I would go and shoot this podcast, and I'll still just bring the drone anyway.
yeah.
Because it'd be that one time when they say, "Don't you got a drone?
Right.
Let's step outside real quick." You be like, "Yeah, well, I thought we were shooting."
Exactly.
I thought.
And then your value just went down.
But you said you had a drone.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Right. I ain't bring it.
And that is everything, like, just to even make it universal, right? We've been shooting this, like you asked before we started rolling, you was like, yo, how long y'all been doing the podcast? You are our 5th episode. Yeah. We haven't had, not to like, you know, talk down on nobody, but we haven't had a regular guest yet. You not a regular guest. The other 4 people we haven't had a regular guest yet, but we have no analytics to bring in a Brandon. We have no analytics to bring in to prove it. So all of this is off of relationships. So as one, you have a relationship as a person. Then you have a relationship as an entity, meaning, you know, Caleb as a producer or Caleb as a director, I know he does this. Then you have a relationship as how do you treat people. Those 3 things all go, especially when you're an entrepreneur, those are actually more important than your money. Because you're gonna always need something that you don't have the budget for. Or you're gonna always need something that you can't buy like tangibly, you need an intangible. So it's like Caleb could pick up the phone and say, hey Brandon, bro, I just need you to pull up. I know you ain't been here, I know you ain't seen the show, I know you don't know nothing about this, but it's me. Yep. And it's not a favor because it's a mutual respect. Absolutely. Mutual respect is not a favor. Absolutely. So I always tell people, like, your reputation is always gonna enter the room before you. Yep. And people say you don't get a second chance at a first impression. I feel like you do. Because reputation is over time. If you mess up one time, you might not get that second chance with Brandon. Yep. But you might get that second chance with Caleb, who knows Brandon, who can tell Brandon, yeah, bro, I feel that, but
he probably just messed up one time.
He probably just messed up one time because I don't had him 10 times.
Yeah.
And he was on point 10 times, and I left my lights, and he had it. So, you know, I think people get discouraged sometimes, but it's really about reputation, especially in this business. And
relationships and everything.
I think that's where you really make the change at. You've already changed me just from this interview. One of the things that stuck out, and this is gonna get you a lot of brownie points, so I'm glad to bring this up. You talked about your wife. Yeah. A lot of people in our community don't get married. Right. What made you get married?
Well, it was important. I needed it, right? For one, man, like, I haven't seen any like good marriage like growing up. So I don't know what that looks like besides Martin and Gina. That wasn't even real, right? So when I got with my wife, which was at the time was my girlfriend, she just did a whole bunch of stuff that regular people just wouldn't do, right? It was just her daughter. She packed up everything and kind of like, we just like, hey, let's move to Atlanta. We were just together. We stay in the house. We kind of just shacking up. It's like, I'm not about to go and meet nobody else. You know what I mean? She's done sacrificed everything. Right. She done. And the only reason it took me, 3 years to even propose, because I didn't really know anything about marriage. Like, I don't know. What am I doing? Oh, you trying to lock me down? You trying to, Right. It's kind of like, no, this person right here is going to take me to the top. She already started. Right. So it was, for me, it kept me grounded, right? Because without me being married, I would have been distracted, right? Would have been messing around with other women, would have been tricking off, would have been doing other things, because now I'm trying to balance multiple women and trying to create a business.
Now them 16-hour edit days become 4-hour edit days and a lot of missed work.
Yeah, because now I'm dating, I'm trying to please other people who's not going to eventually please me ever. You know what I mean? Or only for a night.
So a couple of the hosts that we had for your upcoming conference this weekend, man, YC Image and the Creative Ryan, bro, like for the people that don't really know, like, the video community like that, like, these are like, YouTube University, like, professors. Like, 6 years ago when I was sitting in the cube, like, really trying to learn film and learn video and learn photography, like, learning how to, like, run and gun on my own and not rely on anybody else and just learn all parts of, like, production. I learned that from them. Yeah. So, like, having them as, like, hosts on your, your conference, like, what was that process like building with them and the rest of the hosts that you have?
Once I started knowing that like relationship capital was important, I just focused heavy on like relationships, right? So when I first got with like YC's brother Chaos, right? And when I met him, he was at my Yellowprint conference last year.
Shout out Chaos, man.
Yeah, shout out Chaos. And I was just giving back. I said, yo, what's up? Oh, you shoot? Oh yeah, I'm doing a conference, bro. Just go ahead and walk in there and get some free game.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, basically,
right,
I don't think
right,
I'm going, bro. I'm
right.
very proud of this, bro. I've been doing this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
my bad. Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's just connect.
Right.
Let's connect, let's build and whatever. And then he mentioned like, well, he's my brother.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, let's build something, let's do something together.
Yeah.
So we was actually thinking about doing something different and building, but they end up coming and kind of doing this conference. But yeah, bro, I literally just focus on just giving value to other people. You know what I mean? And making sure that, because relationships are here to stay. Like if all this money goes away, as long as I have relationships, I'll never go broke. You know what I mean?
You might need to trademark relationship capital.
Facts.
Definitely. It's a good tagline.
Just for the people, and this won't be out until after the conference, but for the future conferences, right? Mm-hmm. What can people expect to receive from it? Like what do they expect to get from it?
Yeah, so this conference I'm doing this weekend, right? Which I don't know, it's probably not gonna be here, but basically it's called Yellowprint Conference, right? And the only reason it's called Yellowprint because it's like the blueprint, but I love yellow. Yeah. So it's just Yellowprint. But basically it's just
yellow shoes.
Yellow shoes. I got yellow everything, yellow phone case.
Let's go.
So basically I have it's strictly the business for photographers and videographers. You don't need to bring your camera, right? It's literally we're showing everybody how to create a 6-figure event space, how to automate it, how to be able to make 6-7 figures in your photography videography business, how to get clients to pay you monthly, how to charge 10, 20K a client, how to literally how to hire your team, how to manage, just everything from like the business side that people don't talk about. Because everything on YouTube is buying more gear,
how to shoot, exposure, things like that.
It's like people ask me like, what type of gear? You can just go to YouTube for that.
Right.
It makes no sense to get on a call with somebody like me and ask me what type of gear I'm using.
Yeah.
You can
because the information already out there.
Yeah.
Because you wasting my time at that point.
Yeah. You don't need me for that. You have a good opportunity. To, you know what I mean? It's kind of like going to Michael Jordan. Like, what type of shoes you wear, bro? You don't
like, what type of basketball you use?
Yeah.
Like,
what type of basketball? Spalding. I don't know.
It don't matter.
How about just
right.
how you know what I mean? Right. So basically just the business side.
And I'm mad we're going to be out of town this week. I'm going to catch the next one, though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to be crazy. So, yeah, the business side, systems, everything that people don't talk about.
Do you think people don't talk about it because they don't care to get the information or they don't want to get the information? I think it's two sides of it.
Yeah, I think one, people don't know it, right? So the people, if you go online and you try to look it up, there's not many people who actually know how to build a photography videography business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right.
I just want to let that sink in. You could think about people right now. You be like, well, shoot. Now I'm thinking about it. Nobody's actually showing me how to make 10, 20K a month, right? If they do say, hey, here's how they make 10,000 with your camera, they'll just name different stuff. Like you can do portraits, you can do landscape, you can do whatever. It's kind of like,
right.
There's no strategy.
Yeah, it's a flyer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a flyer. Like, so now I'm like, do you actually know how to build one? Most people don't. So if you're looking at the people, you look at me, you're looking at Caleb, right? It's like, there's very few people who actually know how to. So if that's the case, we need to show other people how to do it, because while everybody else is getting hundreds of thousands, millions of views on camera gear, there's actually people who's not out here. You know, Caleb don't have, of course. Right. It's just showing people like, boom, this is how I landed $30,000, whatever, who's really in the field doing it for real. Right. So there's people out there who's doing it, and we just don't see these people, don't know these people. Right. I could have seen Caleb in Walmart, and you know, when I was struggling eating chicken sandwiches, and I'm like, oh, it's just Caleb.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I would have just never known. So most we just don't know. And the people who do know, they're just, working and doing their thing.
So it's not malicious. It's just like either they don't know or the other people are just laser focused on what they got going on.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, who's going to be there to teach them and show them? The school, if you go to school, like, the instructors are not making the money. If they would have built a $1 million business,
they wouldn't have been exactly.
You know, one of the, and I think while your blueprint is set for your area for photographers and videographers, I think it's rappers that can come to the conference and you apply those same. It's just general business.
It's general business, yeah.
And creatives just need general business. People need general business.
100%.
And I think people who are not entrepreneurs or don't want to start their own business don't think they need to have business acumen. When your life is a business.
Right.
Everything in your life is a business. Everything you've said today is, I had to figure out this to do this. I decided to get married based on this being done this way, and this what I got from it, and this what I knew I would lose if I didn't do it. All of it is business. And you just have to apply real life systems to your life. So I wish I was gonna be in town for it, but
man, me too.
You know, we definitely come in. We definitely gotta get Caleb.
Nah,
of course, maybe you can help me convince him. I've been trying. I literally bought the domain for Caleb Sales Academy a year ago.
You should.
And it's just sitting there. So maybe we'll convince him to do it.
Cause I don't need to be like the downtown. I'm teaching strictly returning stuff, which I feel like everybody should do. But I don't need. You don't have to go my way. I just want photography, videographers, creatives to win.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's
and
it.
I understand it's a pool of people. Let's say it's, I don't know, 5 million creatives. Not all of them are going to make it. But if we can get 500,000, 100,000 people to actually win, then we did something.
That's a win.
How often do you shoot still?
I haven't shot anything in like 2 years.
What would make you shoot?
I wouldn't need to.
Right.
I still would need to.
So there's no like dream project that would make you do it?
To be honest, think about how I started.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was trying to be a rapper. Photography, videography was never my passion.
So, which means there's no photography, videography dream that's just gonna draw you to it.
Like, here's the thing: if I shoot now, I'm like Michael Jordan in the Wizards. Like, you don't want me to come out and pull the camera out. This stuff, ice stuff can be jacked up, force stuff can be grainy. I look crazy.
I hate when people use that reference. Again, I'm a basketball nut.
Yeah,
Jordan still averaged 21 for the Wizards.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No,
it's still good numbers.
He still gave somebody 55 for the Wizards. So like, I do feel like, you know, I know even like Caleb, we talk now, like I ask him all the time, cause I love people's direction for themselves. Mm-hmm. So I'm always asking Caleb, who's the dream artist? Who's the dream project? Who's the mark? Who's this? Where you want to go with this? And he'll say, well, bro, I want to shoot this, this, and this, and this. But like, if Caleb don't shoot a music video for 5 years and I can get Caleb a Jay-Z video, I'm going to beg him to shoot it, even if I know he shoot movies.
But if it was like a Jay-Z video, I would my mentees, they just shoot better than me. They just do. I got a mentee Cal right now, he shoot better than me.
And that's a flex.
Period.
That's a flex.
It's like I'm not gonna be able to do it. I can't do it.
And that's the goal too. It's just like, you know, for everybody out there, like, we want the people that's under us, you know, quote unquote under us, like, we want them to outlive what we established, because, you know what I'm saying, your brand is gonna live on in him or her. Like, that's what's important.
Kids.
Exactly.
Not in a demeaning way, but it's your kids.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You want them to like go on and, you know, be the next Bronny or be whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Yep. And so to piggyback off that, and this will be my last question, like, what are some characteristics of an ideal intern or an ideal mentee for you?
I look more into like soft skills. I'm not necessarily looking at the like the technical side. Like, can you shoot? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for like, you know, are you
can you think on your feet?
Can you think on your feet?
Right.
Do you show up on time?
Right.
Are you do you take initiative? You know, can you think ahead? Things like that.
Right.
But everything else, like I can train you for that. It's whatever.
Yeah. And that's my thing too, and that's what I try to tell people, like, you don't need to come in just knowing how to use an Alexa Mini or even use a Blackmagic, you know, like CC camera, pocket camera, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't really need you for that. Mm-hmm. I just need to know, if I turn my back, that you have enough integrity to do whatever the task is. That's soft skills.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Integrity. Hey man, I can't wait to dive more. I'm definitely gonna, I know you probably think I'm joking, but I'm definitely gonna call you for coaching, because I just feel like it can apply in so many different things. And I just like picking people's brain who are successful. So we won't make this conference, but I'm definitely gonna make one. Tell the people where to find you at. How do they get in touch with you, or how do they get in touch with your program?
Yeah, well, just go to my Instagram, BrandonShotMe. It's BrandonShotMe everywhere. BrandonShotMe on YouTube, BrandonShotMe on Instagram, Facebook. But primarily Instagram is where I play at. So you hit me up, BrandonShotMe, all one word like Beyonce. Send me a DM, I'll respond.
That's it. Change Agent. Episode 5, I'm Trav.
It's Kevin.
And we out.